Hey guys, Dr. Dex here. Welcome to our channel. Thanks for coming. Today we are going to test a couple different products. One is from Harbor Freight, and it's the least expensive clamp I could find. It was $7 versus a Irwin, like $50 clamp. You can get it like Home Depot or Lowe's or something like that. And the premise behind this is just to see, is it worth it? Is it really worth it? We're gonna find out, okay? So basically this is a squeeze clamp. It definitely moves in easy. This is brand new, still has the tags on it. One thing I don't like about this clamp already is if it just, like, this could hurt. If you're just holding this, ow. This clamp won't do that. You actually have to hit the lever to get it to do that. So it'd be kind of nice if our value clamp didn't do that, because I can see that as being annoying. It does have a removable end like the Irwin does. So if you want to use it as a spreader, you can, which is kind of cool. I mean, this is for more like a DIYer that doesn't want to spend several $100s on clamps. Maybe you just need a couple to finish up a project, either around the house, on your deck, or whatever. You know, we're a build channel, right? So we want to see what these less expensive DIYer tools are like. I've never bought one of these before. I've never really had the need for one. I always buy the high-end, high compression, whatever, but I wanted to know, is this thing really gonna work? Basically, there's a couple different functions for the clamp. Most of the time, you're using it to bring a couple pieces of something together by pulling on this lever. When you're ready to take it apart, you push on the thumb on the back on this lever here, and it opens up. Like I said before, I'm not crazy of the fact it does move really easy. Maybe because it's so new, I don't know. Let's clamp a couple pieces of material together and lift it and see how it does. We're gonna start with that, and then we'll just like maybe put down some downward pressure on something and see if we can get it to rip or pull apart or something like that, okay? So I've got a 6x6 right here, and I've just got a small chunk. And let's just say I need to hold these two pieces together. I am having a slight issue getting the clamp to open up, but okay, I've cinched it as tight as I can. Now I'm gonna pick this up. And it seems to be holding pretty good, but it's starting to move around a little bit. So it's got a little bit of movement, okay? So let's compare that with this clamp. And I'm gonna give it about the same amount of pressure, which is quite a bit. And I'm gonna pick it up. And it's really not moving, the boards aren't moving around. So I'm gonna say that $7 clamp doesn't have the force or the holding power that this one does. Now, I do know that Harbor Freight does make a similar I-beam style clamp like this one. So to be fair, maybe in the future we'll do another review with their heavy duty clamp if you guys want to see it. If you don't, no big deal. I think this is a good indicator of how things work. So let's just say we want to clamp this down to this table. Maybe we're cutting this or we're working on this end and we don't have a third hand. That's what clamps are great for. So I've given it all my gusto, okay? And it seems pretty tough. I can lift this table with this. Things move around back and forth kind of easily, but you know, for the most part, I could do whatever I got to do with this with just this one clamp holding this board down. Works pretty good for that. All right, let's go with this guy, see what happens. Okay, got it cinched down. It's actually cinching so much it's lifting it off the side of the table, but definitely can do what I got to do with it. It's still moving around, probably because we have this tablecloth on here. So I would say there's not a whole lot of difference between the heavy duty clamp and your standard value-based clamp as far as holding something down. It just really depends on longevity. I can't really tell you that right now. These clamps usually these Irwin clamps we have, they spend a lot of time in the field, and they are tried and true. They work in and out every day for us. Like I said, this is just a new purchase. Just kind of curious how well it would do. For $7, it's probably not a bad investment if you just need a couple clamps for a couple things, like holding things together, or maybe you gotta change elevation on something. Or if you do wanna use it as a spreader, let's check out that function. You undo this dial right here. I don't know if you pull this out. Oh, yeah, I guess you pull it out completely. So be careful, because you can lose your parts this way. Okay, and then you spin it around to the back, and then you put the dial back in. okay? And now you've got a spreader. So the idea behind this is if you need to raise something, you can go like this, or if you need to push things apart. I think that this is driving me nuts though, right here. Just the fact that this is so loose. I don't know if in the future, once you get some of this newness off of this, if that's still a thing or not. Maybe we'll bring this to the job site and we'll do an update on it in a separate video, but it will definitely work as a spreader. You can see right here, I use this function a lot when I'm trying to straighten out joists. Like if I have a bunch of joists and they might be bowed and I just need to straighten them out or need to get something tight to something else, I'll just put this in between the joists and then start cranking to whatever I need and then fasten it down, and then I'm just, boom, done. So I guess for $7, I'm gonna say, why not? You know, it's not a bad investment, and if you break it, you're only out $7. These other high value clamps, I would definitely consider those as well. I mean, that's what I use every day, and I still haven't really broken one yet. And I've been using some of these for 8, 9 years. So the investment's there. It's a large initial investment, but if you can't afford 4 or 5 really expensive clamps, this $7 one's okay. You might look at the $20 one that they have that is similar, more similar to the Irwin clamp, but then you're getting near the other costs of the Irwin clamps. But that's all I have. So I don't know if that says anything or not, except I do have this one $7 clamp. There you go. We also have something else that we purchased at Harbor Freight. This is a 25-foot Pittsburgh tape measure by 1 inch. This is the cheapest tape measure we could find at Harbor Freight. It was $3.99. Let's compare it to this DeWalt 25-footer and see how we do as far as accuracy and tape length standout and markings, okay? So I haven't looked at it. We're just gonna open it up out of the box. That was easy. And give you my initial thoughts. I think it's a cheap tape measure, but that's what it is, right? That's what we bought it for. Okay, initial thoughts. I like the matte finish on the tape. The first set of measurements for the first 12 inches is straight black. There are 1/8 inch increments, which is kind of nice if you're working with somebody that doesn't know their fractions very well. And usually what I do is I measure out, I'll say 8 7/8 plus or minus. So I'm not giving out 16ths. This is actually marked out in 30 seconds, which is kind of nuts. I think people are gonna get confused on that one. Let's go 8 7/8 and 1 mark. That'd be 29 30 seconds. That's too complicated. If you're gonna do 8 7/8, and if I say plus, I'm plus a 16th, not a 32nd. If you go to this side of the tape, 8 7/8 plus would be 9 minus, which is the same thing. But if you go down here, man, you're really being accurate, which is great, but almost too accurate for what we do, okay? Let's see how far our standout is on the tape, which means how far will this tape go before it collapses? Looks like about 7 feet, which in my opinion isn't enough, but you know, it's a $4 tape measure. Let's see if we can get it to go a little further. Okay, that's 2. We'll try it one more time. Okay, I'm gonna put my best forward. I'm gonna see if I can go 6'10". 6'10", a standard DeWalt. It's a little beat up. Okay, it's not brand new. I've had it for a couple years. 9, about 10 feet. So if standout's a problem, you might invest in a better tape measure. Something, I like the FatMax, mostly Stanley FatMax. That's what I usually use. This DeWalt's very similar to the FatMax. 9'9". And hey, this DeWalt tape actually has fractions on it as well, but it's in 16ths. I know you really can't read it very well, but there's like 12 1/8. Hey, stop that. So it measures the 8ths, and then in fractions, of course, and then it's an imperial tape measure, and then there are 16th inch markings in between the 8ths. So this would be my speed right here. If I was gonna train somebody up on how to read a tape measure, this would be a good one, because a FatMax usually doesn't have those 1/8 inch increments on the other side of the tape. It's just straight up, hey man, you either know your measurements or you don't. We don't really care. We're Stanley. We can do whatever the heck we want. You know, DeWalt's like part of the Stanley family, but they're like, maybe this might come in handy. So we're gonna change it up a little bit. And then we've got Pittsburgh over here. You can see here, the Pittsburgh tape is thinner, narrower than the DeWalt tape by about 1/8 of an inch. So that definitely has something to do with the standout on it, okay? And I think the metal is a little bit thinner as well. But let's see what we see here as far as like, let's just pull our tapes out to 2 feet. They look pretty accurate. Now, normally I do a 16-foot test as well. We're accurate at 2 feet. Let's pull out to 10 feet. And see what we got. Okay, so at 10 feet, we're off about a 64th. You can see it's almost a 32nd in 10 feet. So that's not good. If you're gonna use this Pittsburgh tape measure, everybody on the job site better use the same one, same brand. That's my suggestion. Because if you're off that much in 10 feet, then you're gonna have issues. If one guy's using a Fat Max, one guy's using Pittsburgh, one guy's using DeWalt, you're gonna get different brands will give you a different length. We've done this in prior tape measure tests. So all in all, if you're a DIYer and you just don't wanna spend $25 on a tape measure, this $4 version will probably get it done for you. No problem. If you want something longevity-wise that's gonna have a better standout and that's super accurate, I'd consider that DeWalt one. So basically that concludes our testing of those 2 products from Harbor Freight. Did it really work? I would say the clamp did work, not to my expectation. I don't think I would buy a whole fleet of those. I would maybe have 1 or 2 if I just needed them for a quick adjustment or something like that. And the tape measure, I would definitely probably not purchase. I would go and stick with my tried and true Stanley Fat Max. I'll pass on the $4 Pittsburgh, but thanks for watching this video, guys. If you liked it, or you got something out of it, click that subscribe button, hit that bell icon to be notified when we're putting out new content. Don't forget to comment below and like this video. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day.